Dealz house. And here's the thing. Listen, you know I'm in demand all over the place. That's why I got these two big malakas with me. But anyway, this is the point. It's freezing everywhere, right? It's cold. I came out here to do some research on the weather. So I made this whole new sweatsuit. See, Steel Man's always got you. Sweatsuit. It's a hoodie. It's joggers. It's available right now on the website. So it's a new beanie. You see the new beanie? It's wonderful. I got some other stuff coming too. I got another tracksuit coming because it's freezing. It's winter. You know what I'm saying? And I'm out here doing research for you people. I know you love me. NationalWrestlingAlliance.com/hit the shop button. Right, boys? Right. That's that.
Talos, you suck. Your mama thinks too. When I think of Daisy Kill, I don't know what to do. But in my heart, Daisy Kill reminds me. When I fought.
I just want to know who the milkmen were in that video. I also want to know why this banner is still up. But now it's not. What is up, you beautiful people? This is Gary Horne. Yeah, no. This is just bad at my job. This is Gary Horne, and this is the NWA. The show celebrates the past, present, future, history, legacy, and tradition of the greatest pro wrestling entity of all time. Of course, we're talking about the National Wrestling Alliance. We're down a man tonight, fellas. No Joe.
Joe is right now at Olive Garden eating breadsticks. He's at a family gathering, and I don't want to bury them, but last time he was there, he had some intestinal distress, so we're gonna feel for him. Ken Terminator, Joe's not here, but we'll make sure we say hi. Hey, there he is. Hey, right there in the street. Great conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the NWA. We weren't here last Monday. We were traveling from our Tampa TV tapings, and then, it was a hell of a time. Gary was on a plane, Danny Dealz was in a vehicle, and I was just existing, which is a challenge in its own right in this day and age, folks. I hope everybody's doing okay. Hope everything's good. The big game was yesterday. It's copyright, so we have to call it the big game still, if I remember right. Is that accurate?
No, is it really?
Yeah, that's why everybody on the radio says the big game. That's why you see it everywhere else. Yeah, it's. But anyway, whatever happened to NWA JCP Wrestling? It wasn't shown on Thursday. Ooh,
I don't know. They had a show Friday. I was there.
Did have a show Friday.
We should have had Joe. Joe Kazana on.
And something.
Favorite Kazana.
Something dastardly may or may not have happened to Carson Drake. But
you know what? Carson Drake, our NWA World Television Champion. Dastardly. We're going to have to wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a little chat here. What's new with everybody? It's been 2 weeks. Dealz, you got anything new and exciting other than the fact that I'm being told that Valentine Dealz, that's with a Z, right?
Yep.
Making sure. I don't know.
Where is it?
Up on the screen there.
Where is it?
Did tell Gary it.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was doing something. It's Valentine Dealz. 20% off in the shop all week for Valentine's Day.
That's right.
This beanie is available on there as well.
there's some really cool new stuff, which is right. I just can't. It's just not. It'll be available for pre-sale soon.
In enough time that someone like Matt B could buy his Valentine Natalia Markova something from the shop, something cool and new.
Sure, you could buy her slime balls. Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Natalia Markova loves the slime balls.
Who doesn't?
And right here's what that shirt looks like right there, the purple version, ladies and gentlemen. You want to take a trip to Slime City, you can go to nationalwrestlingalliance.com/shop and use that code Valentine Dealz 20% off using the shop all week. Or get this beanie. Bam!
Yeah.
Look at that.
That beanie.
You're wearing that, Kyle.
I am, because my head is cold.
I forgot to give you a picture of it.
There's a Kazana helping us out. New episodes of JCP are coming soon. So everybody, don't worry, baby birds. They're going to feed you.
I'll tell you, the crowd the other night was very rowdy.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get by the book. Hey,
speaking of...
do you still have these tracksuits available?
Yeah, I still have a few of them. Yep.
Fantastic, guys. You want?
You know what? I'm going to use that 20% off for. I want to get that new Country Gentleman shirt that's in the shop.
Oh, show it. Do you have a picture? Did I send you a picture?
I don't, unless you already put it up here. I don't.
How about I send it to you while we're talking, and at some point it can go up.
Well, I can grab it. I could do it. I've got the magic of the internet right here in front of me.
He got the magic fingers. Bum, bum. Well, folks, ladies and gentlemen, and tomorrow night, NWA Power, of course. That's one of the reasons we're here to talk about. You can scan this QR code. You can go there.
Right a better picture of that.
If you go to the nationalwrestlingalliance.com, NWA, anywhere you go, you could click on the links there on the website. It has a watch tab up there. You could catch all of the past episodes of NWA Power. Otherwise, you can just go to NWA on the X or the Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And also, you could scan this QR code right here to go to the shop, as we said, if you don't like typing in a bunch of things, and you get that Valentine Dealz 20% off on anything in the shop. Are we buying enough time for you, Gary?
Was that Scott?
Yeah,
Wheeler?
well,
that
referee,
Scott Wheeler.
if I wanted to just be rough about it, like
rough about it. Who cares? You know who's rough about it? The Southern Six.
Oh yeah, Daddy. Look at those brothers. Actually, me and AT had a good time yesterday watching the game. We had some beers. We watched the Eagles win. It was a good time.
Speaking of shopping the other day,
pick, so I have to learn to just be like that because it's just quick and dirty. There it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is beautiful. Actually, I really do like that.
Mm-hmm. That's cool more shirt. And the shirt. I know it kind of looks white in that picture, but it's not white. It's like
it looks cream,
green color. Yeah.
Speaking of Xana and Thrillbilly Silas Mason, we were shopping the other day and we were just chilling, and then there was a box of moon pies, and Samantha went, "I love moon pies," and I said, "Have I ever told you that Thrillbilly and AJ were in a moon pies commercial for the solar eclipse?" Showed it to her, and she's like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know weird people." Still never seen the Iron Claw. Speaking of Thrillbilly Silas Mason.
I haven't either, actually.
Wow, that is weird. I would think,
and it's on Max right now.
So, they cut one of the brothers out of the movie, though. I don't like that.
That's fine. We were cut out of The Wrestler when they did that movie back in the ROH days ourselves.
No, they did. They did.
Yeah.
There was like
Bobby Dempsey's the only one you see in the background pushing a broom.
That's it.
I think him and Albright are in the background pushing brooms or something like that.
We gotta get Bobby Dempsey on NWA show, Kyle. I love some Bobby Dempsey.
Let me tell you, one of the most violent Death Valley drivers you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Also,
it's one of your cousins.
When he'd get fired up to wrestle or fight people in real life, he would listen to Hey Jude by the Beatles. And I'd be like, "Bobby, what's the deal with that?" He goes, "Just makes me angry, sir. I don't know why."
No, that's true. I've actually I was involved in a dark match he was in. He made sure that somebody's feet hit my head and I flipped off the apron.
Oh man.
And he was nice afterwards, but he was mean for that.
Well, that's quite all right. You know what's going to be nice afterwards, but mean for it? Hard times. Because let's face it, hard times. Everybody's living it right now. Hard Times Live's coming at you Saturday, March 22nd, 2025. That's right. This year, right around the corner at the Dothan Civic Center. How do I get this Valentine's?
Easy for you to say.
It's really, how do I get rid of that? I don't know. If I hit this and then something else. How did you get that to pop up on the screen like that? How do we?
What?
Gary,
what?
How do I get rid of that Valentine's 20% off thing?
Oh, sorry. It's a banner. So it's boom. Look at that. Look at that.
Guys,
they still need me. They still need me.
Yeah, we always need you, baby.
Yeah.
I love you. Hard Times 5, of course, goes to Civic Center. NWALiveEvents.com. And I don't know if this has been officially put out there yet or not, but we'll just mention it. There is going to be a before the show, Meet the Stars in NWA, free to Hard Times ticket holders, 5:15 to 6:45 p.m. Of course, the show starts at 7. But ladies and gentlemen, you can come to the show early. You can meet some of the stars of the National Wrestling Alliance. There is a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion that will be there as well. That is not part of the normal roster, but we'll have more talk about that later on.
Is it the one that was just announced on the NWA Instagram?
What was it announced on the NWA Instagram?
Yeah, there was one just announced. I should have it on here, but I don't yet. Brian Idol. So
that's not how you spell it, EC3.
It's hold on, I'll have that pick in just a second too.
Well,
we'll get it together here.
Yeah, this was very thrown together, ladies and gentlemen.
He's also a former Western States Heritage champion.
We do have a guest that's going to be coming on in just a second, but I'm going to show you.
Is it Alex Misery because he's the stalker?
No, Alex is in my backyard right now.
See,
so
look what I did there. That's a little hint.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's right.
I should feign more excitement than that. I'm sorry that I didn't.
No, that's quite all right. This was somebody I got to meet in 73, I think. Oh, Knox and Murdoch are coming on the show.
They're our special guests.
Are they?
No.
What a surprise. Well, I trust.
I already gave you when I said former Western States Heritage champion.
Yeah. So
you guys have
up. This is what I was talking about. Barry
Windham,
world champion, is coming to Hard Times. He's going to be there. You can meet him thanks to our friend the Captain's Corner, and you should definitely do that. Also, ever the opportunity to meet NWA President William Patrick Corgan. He is also going to be there. That was shared today by Dothan Civic Center and Opera House.
So we have the normal meet and greet, the little meet the stars of the NWA, and then there's additional things. The VIP access is the $15 additional that you'll be able to get at NWA live events. The link.
And unfortunately, even though it's an opera house, Pavarotti will not be there.
It's true. And then as far as Barry Windham goes, you could, for $30, be part of the autograph signing at the show there. You don't need to get anything in advance. You could do it right at the table with him.
Let's do this. So everybody always expects a guest. We didn't have planned guests, but now that we're here, the guests just roll in, and let's get some other help from some other people. We've got territory guests because that's what we love to talk about here on this show. How about this? We've got Papa Joe Kazana and Noah from Exodus Pro.
Joe's here too.
Joe
we can only have one Joe at a time, so he filled the Joe quota.
Yeah, the Joe quota.
Yeah.
So new episodes are dropping this week, Kyle Davis. Just
thank you.
Be aware.
Listen, people in the chat were asking about it. They were saying, "Where is my NWA JCP?" And I was confused because I said, "They still exist." I talked to them.
Papa Joe, it was a wild show on Friday.
Yeah, man, it was a wild show the other night, wasn't it?
Yeah,
crazy.
I've heard great things from it.
There was even some flames involved.
Some what?
I think we're trying to do that.
I don't want that.
Flame.
Hey, listen, there was a lot of stuff there the other night that wasn't exactly done by the book. I can assure you of that.
It sure wasn't. It sure was. You even had somebody sneak into the building on you that you didn't even agree to do.
Yeah.
You hadn't seen him since the
80s. Yeah. Sure. I'm going to tell you something, man. This
what's the story?
Stuck in the building the other day. I mean, we go back to 87 together. Yeah. So, I didn't really appreciate him being there. I don't like him. I don't want him as part of JCP. He's not part of JCP. He's certainly not part of the NWA. So, he did something he couldn't have done.
You guys are talking to code. Who are we talking about?
Well, the guy's name is Too Tough Tony.
Oh my God. Too Tough Tony.
And Too Tough Tony threw that ignorant, stupid looking flaming fist. So instead of suspending him, I fined him $5,000. So there.
Well, did he pay it?
That takes care of my Alabama license, Kyle.
I saw that. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Whoa.
Noah,
are you having kava?
He's in
I
Cleveland,
am,
Ohio.
actually.
He's with EC3. You know he's having problems.
No. What? Kava. I was
That's
talking about the store
true.
behind him. He's having Kava.
I got distracted. I'm scared.
Both are true.
Look at this. That's Tom Latimer as NWA World Champion.
That's right.
Announced for Maple Leaf. Here comes former World Heavyweight Champion
That's the real show
EC3.
coming up here in Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, 3:15. Win in Rome 2. Final flowers. Me and Richard Holiday said, die!
Look at
Look at
that.
Joe Kazana's
He just
getting in?
made
I
that
don't
pop
wanna
up on the screen.
Joe's already.
Look at that.
Joe was talking about
Yeah.
Too Tough Tony lighting his fist on fire and punching someone.
Which is about the
All right, I
most
got shit to
ignorant
do.
thing I've ever seen.
I gotta go.
Terrible.
Well, you
Although
know,
I bet it was too.
I don't blame EC3 for walking away on that one either.
Listen, it could have been worse. He could have lit other parts of his body on fire and hit somebody with them.
That's true. And the cool thing was he popped Carson Drake with that flaming fist. Now that was cool.
I could smell his hair.
Of course, you know
Carson
Carson
deserved
in
it, I bet.
in his play act, and you know he thought he was blinded in both eyes. Of course, he wasn't. And Dealz will tell you he had his hair singed.
I smelt it.
Yeah, well, you all smelt it. Mm.
Means they dealt it.
But
All
I'm
right,
not going to
Willie
give
Bowen
anything
here
else
with
away.
a little info drop. Yeah,
What
let's
does
ask you a
Dayton
question.
have to do with
Joe,
Cleveland? I'm lost on that.
Because Anna, you've been around the block. You've done plenty of things. Any Barry Windham stories?
I've wrestled Barry Windham a few times. Great wrestler, awesome dude. I mean, I actually wrestled him one time for the Western States Heritage Championship.
See what I tell you? I told you he had that belt.
You knew
Yeah,
it.
yeah, he had it. That's when he
87, 86?
87, 88, when Jim Crockett bought Western States Heritage, you know, what the territory. Barry won the championship, and it went back and forth between him and Larry Zbyszko for a while. But I wrestled Barry Windham a couple of times as the Western States champion. I wrestled him more than a couple of times when he was a member of the Four Horsemen. And Barry was a great wrestler. I mean, he is one of those guys that one of the most unsung heroes in all of pro wrestling, in my opinion.
Well, fantastic. Unfortunately, I think if you're going to want to meet him, though, it's going to cost you coming up.
That's right.
Because, you don't look like you used to anymore. He might walk up to you and be like, hey, Barry. And he'd be like, here, it's meet and greet time to get
Joe might want a rematch.
No, Joe doesn't need a rematch with him.
That might be. You should go to Hard Times. Get your tickets now at NWALiveEvents.com because you might see Joe Kazana versus Barry Windham. I don't know.
Oh, why not?
Up the ticket prices just in case.
Yeah. Well,
and happen.
you
That's
don't
a
even
money
need a
match.
ticket for
Come
that.
on.
You don't need a ticket for that one. We just want you to buy one. That one could just happen in the parking lot. So you never know.
You know, the price of admission. You know, meet Barry Windham. I mean, throw EC3 in the mix. We'll have a three-way.
Oh,
That would be unfair to EC3.
Why? He's the overman, the overgod, the overlord. The
Barry
man's
Windham in there?
delusional anyway.
A horseman?
He's delusional. He's
A
not
horseman?
a god. He's a man, just like the rest of us.
Well, that's in the name. Overman.
Overman, overlord, overdone, whatever. He thinks he's in an airplane movie.
Look, I
feel like
You'll know that reference.
I still think we need to have a JCP for Sex's Pro show. I mean, they're always arguing, right? They're always arguing. First two territories, they're always arguing.
Noah and I argue all the time.
All right.
You know, we do. And listen, if Exodus wants to run a show together, come on down, boys. I'll be
You're
more
Why
than
they got to
happy.
come down? Why don't you go up?
Well, you know, we can go up there. We've been to Cleveland. Now it's time to
South
come
isn't
to
all-
this
the
place.
Because
South
Anna's
isn't
have
allowed
been
to
on
go up
Exodus
north.
Chattanooga. You know, come to Chattanooga, come to Knoxville. You know, let's finally put Silas Mason out there with Pretty Boy Smooth, and let's see who the biggest man in the professional wrestling is.
Whoa.
That's an interesting matchup.
It's
right
going to
there.
be a tough pill for you to swallow when that title's coming to Exodus, though. That's the issue. One
tell you
punch
something.
from Pretty Boy
Hooker
Smooth has
Boxer
put down men
Silas
bigger than
Mason.
Silas.
No. You got to understand, Silas Mason is the world's largest man. He's not going to let Pretty Boy Smooth come in.
You ever
here
been
or
to an
even come up
amusement
there.
park and seen someone?
Do
You ever been
what?
to an amusement park and seen someone too big to get on the ride?
I have.
That's
I'm
Pretty Boy
assuming
Smooth.
that's
He's
where you're
too
going
big
with
to
that.
get on the thrill ride. He's too big.
Too big for the thrill ride.
Too large of a
Well,
human.
That's interesting.
That's
Too
okay.
big for the thrill ride.
Thrill ride
But
is
everyone
not
can
all
take a
Silas
Haas
Mason
cross.
has.
Well, we're gonna find out
That
coming
means
up
you can't
when
go to Cedar
in
Point.
Rome
That's
2.
terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, go to nationalwrestlingalliance.com to get your tickets right now. That's going to be March 15th, right around the corner. And let's talk about some of the more territory-centric shows we have going on as well. Because February 22nd, we've got World League Wrestling Salute to the Service 3. That is star-studded, and we talked about Knox and Murdoch earlier tonight. They are going to be there, as will Aaron Stevens and the stars of WLW.
That's going to be a big show. I was talking to Trevor about that, and they get a lot of service members there, and that's pretty sweet. That's going to be a fun show to go to.
I hope that show's a major sellout. I really do.
I hope it is, but if it's not, we might see a paradox, which is actually the name of the show, happening on February 23rd in San Antonio.
He's on a roll now.
This is part of NWA Texas, brought to you by the Dog Pound. Damage from BFT, Hunter, Drake, Sam Stackhouse, and then other stars will be there. But that's the NWA faithful right there. Doors open at 6 p.m. And I am told that this place has amazing burgers. Just putting that out there. I think that they told
extra incentive.
Extra incentive. And then we've got a second NWA Texas show. This one is brought to you by our partners at TSW. You can be a part
See,
of
now
that.
there you could have done extra incentive to go to Texas. There's 2 shows coming up. See,
that's right, but they're a week apart, so you're gonna have to stay there for an entire week.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. That's a whole week right now. You don't know what's gonna happen in Texas and stuff like that this time of year. But you can see. Check this out. You know, it's like Damage is always at every show. Natalia Markova, of course, a favorite in the chat. And is that on the left? Is that CJ? Christy Jane?
Sure looks
like CJ. What's up, girl?
That you never know who's going to pop up at any of the NWA territory shows.
Bypass Soda Pop. Like
Speaking of that, well, Soda Pop, I'm going to bring back later on there. I'm trying to cut the sugar here. That's what I'm trying to do. My teeth are bothering me. I need dental work, baby. NWA Chicago, Road to Gold. Speaking of anybody could show up, William Patrick Corrigan right there is going to be at the show. Studio One, March 7th on a Friday. You know, those are the best times. Friday, early Sunday. Those are the 2 days right there. You want to go see a wrestling show. Saturdays, you gotta do stuff like that. We got the Boz. We got Country Gents. Joe, who is your favorite son, and why is it not AJ?
Well, let's just go and get to a big old huge debate about that, Kyle Davis. Why do you stir the pot every time?
I don't have to. We all know he's not really your son.
You know, it's no wonder Carson Drake doesn't like you.
Carson Drake loves me. Shut your mouth.
It's no wonder you have no friends.
I have plenty of friends, and some of those friends are going to be at Crossfire's Lock and Loaded coming at you March 14th.
Boy, did I segue himself into that.
What can I say, ladies and gentlemen? Tyler Franks, Kylie Page, and the NWA World Women's Champion, Kenzie Page, which also segues over to Power, because tomorrow night on X, Tuesday, 6:05 p.m. Eastern, we got an action-packed show for you, including this match, which will be Kylie Page and the NWA World Women's TV Champion, Big Mama, going against Kylie's former friend, former tag team partner, former colleague, former everything, former bestie. It is the It Girls, the NWA World Women's Tag Team Champions, defending against Kylie Page and Big Mama.
Could we see a double champ there? Could Big Mama take the tag team titles? That'd be interesting.
Listen, I'm just saying this. Ella Envy has made a history of being a tag team champion. And even if she loses them, she's going to win them right back. Anyway.
Oh, my God.
Joe
Please
Carson
do everybody a favor and just shut up, Kyle.
See?
Nailed it.
What's Carson want to know?
$7,000 he gave you.
The grand he gave me.
He said he gave you $7,000. He said, what'd you do with it?
Well, Carson Drake has lost his ever-loving mind. Carson Drake gives anybody $7,000, we're all in trouble. He stole it.
No. But you know what? This one could steal the show tomorrow night in NWA Power. It's a no-limits match between Kerry Morton and Colby Carino. Ladies and gentlemen, the Southern Six has been on a tear, and perhaps the most obnoxious of all of them, Kerry Morton, will face the Prince of Old School, Colby Carino. No limits.
This one goes back a long way.
It does.
Colby defeated Kerry for the junior heavyweight champion. Yeah.
Both men feuded over the junior heavyweight championship, and now both men have transitioned to the heavyweight title And ladies and gentlemen, this is basically what happens. These two's career path has been following one another to the fact where one goes, I'm going to be a heavyweight. The other says, I'll be a heavyweight. And now look at this. What is around the corner? Well, I can tell you this one has to be seen to believe. Tune in tomorrow night on X at NWA, 6:05 p.m. Eastern, and you can witness the action live as it happens. In fact, speaking of action and as it happens, ladies and gentlemen, let's say a little prayer for Daisy Kill and Talos. The two-time NWA United States Tag Team Champions are the #1 contenders to the NWA World Tag Team Champions.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! How can they be the #1 contenders when we're the United States Tag Team Champions?
I mean, that's
fair
title.
I mean, honest to God, go back in your history books, go back in the regular book. Even Noah will sit here and tell you the United States Tag Team Champions are the #1 contenders for the World Tag Team titles. Doesn't matter what Daisy and Talos did. Guess what? They lost in Philadelphia. We are the champions.
They did win their opportunity, but to be fair, it's the same way that Mims is the de facto #1 contender to Tom Latimer's World Heavyweight Championship.
Exactly. Exactly. By the book.
That is by the book. I was reading it one day backstage.
I mean,
I'm still waiting on my copy of the book.
Do what?
You know, years ago, Knox and Murdoch did go against the Country Gentlemen, but it was the other iteration of your nephew being involved in it as well. But,
double A.
We don't speak of that time, KD.
Noah was saying he's waiting on his copy of the book. I think we should sell copies of the book. I think.
Yeah, $39.99.
$39.90. Try $49.99.
All right. Hey, don't get hot. All right.
No, not got nothing to do with getting hot. It's just a big book. It's hard to print. Are you kidding?
Well, and the shipment from Nashville to Cleveland is probably at least $15. So we're getting into the $70 range here.
Fantastic. Again, that is tomorrow night, Power on X exclusively. If you need to catch up on past episodes, go to nationalwrestlingalliance.com right now. Click the watch tab, and you will be able to link to all the episodes you're catching up on. Like the one that's playing
World Tag Team
right now.
2 tag title matches. That's awesome.
And one of those could be incredibly history setting as well. Also, the thing about this is, you know, when we've talked about this, we all know that Kylie has been kind of hampering this elbow injury. And I have to ask, is she even going to be ready for competition tomorrow night on Power?
She's going to be ready. She's the queen of the territories. You know she's going to be ready. Come hell or high water, injury or no injury, she's going to be ready. The only thing that's going to keep her out of that match is the doctor. That's it. If the doctor doesn't let her wrestle, then she's not going to. But she's going to be there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and you should be there
Kylie
as
is
well. We've got the whole rundown
very,
right
very
here.
tough. We know from her time at Exodus and ECP and Crossfire, I would not want to be in a ring across from Kylie Page because it would hurt.
No, I ain't lying there.
In fact, you could go to our YouTube page right now to see what Hurt and Kylie Page is all about. Because if I remember correctly, we actually have some of her best matches on there as we speak right now. It's youtube.com/NWA. In fact, I believe one of those matches on there is against Ella Envy. If I remember right, her and her sister taking on at Return to the Territories.
Now, you talk about a street fight. Holy
yes, it was. And that is just a precursor to the fight that you are going to see tomorrow night in NWA Power when the NWA World Women's Tag Team Championships are on the line.
What do you think about that match, KD? Who's going to take the belts? Are they going to be retained or are they going to lose?
I know for a fact that Kylie has been seen with an injured arm. I don't know if she's going to be able to compete, so that throws this entire match into an upheaval, and I'm going to be in the ring with them tomorrow night having discussion about where we go from here, if that is true or not. I could be wrong. She could be swerving all of us, and they could be taking this one. However, Ella Envy is a 4-time NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion. She has won titles with 4 different individuals. Even if she doesn't walk away, she's coming back to win the gold. But I got to be honest with you, Miss Star, I've seen so much from this young lady. She has grown leaps and bounds. I think the neck injury has really gotten her to focus on her in-ring skills. She just doesn't have the ability to, like, you know, rely on one thing now. She's got to work her way at. So I'm telling you, it's a wild card match. But I think Colby Carino is going to beat Gary Horne.
I'm going to agree with Kyle Davis on that one. I think Colby Carino is going to beat Kerry Morton. I think he's going to beat his brain.
Oh, damn, Sam Stackhouse, go to the top rope.
Holy smokes.
Kyle threw a flurry of words there. It took me a second to even catch what was happening. Like it was just a
Come
shock
on, Gary.
blast
It must be Alex
I'm so
Misery
sorry.
outside your window.
It is. It's creepy. That's why I've got all the lights.
It is
off
very
here.
dark out there, actually, right now.
I want to know what Noah's doing up there. You robbing a store? What are you doing up there, dude?
I'm pacing. I'm just pacing around, you know.
Yeah,
We're his alibi.
You
what
have
I
to be in
do.
the suburbs
Alibi
to
while
do a
he's
comma,
those criminal acts.
right?
Yeah, just
gonna put him in
pacing
a
around
cage.
downtown Willoughby.
I was going to say you have to be in the suburbs if it's Kava tea. That I can't imagine.
Downtown
They've got-
Willoughby, home to
can't-
many of the great wrestlers on Exodus.
Do they still have all them bars down there? Is that brewery still there?
So
The
you're just
brewery
kind
is
of
actually
wandering
right here.
around.
Tricky
You're
Tortoise.
wandering around, enjoying yourself. And ladies and gentlemen,
Oh,
you're
there it
wandering
is.
around Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Coming up on April 25th and 26th, you can be a part of the Squared Circle Expo, featuring many stars of national wrestling lines, such as NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Alex Taylor, TV Champion Carson Drake, NWA World Women's TV Champion Big Mama Tom Latimer, the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. We have Jeremiah Plunkett, the Mid-America Champion, and of course, the man, the draw, the everything that is, and whoever will be, Danny Dealz himself, who made.
Oh, and I got to give you an updated graphic for that because Kenzie is going to be there too.
Whoa, the world Women's champion. Look at that.
Deals.
And
Is
Joe
Joe
Gonzalez.
How you Friday night?
Oh, the country gentlemen are there now too. That was
No.
after I had that graphic made. The country
I don't have a picture of them. I'm sorry. I got nothing.
We got to get all that together.
Noah's going to be there. It's crazy. Everyone's
Whole
gonna be there.
country gentlemen.
No,
We're
you're
gonna
going
have a
to
whole
be there too, huh?
We're going to have a whole section.
I don't
Breaking
know, I
news,
just
ladies
said
and
it.
gentlemen.
I felt
I'd
left
like
out.
to officially announce that I will not be there.
You will not be there.
Carson
nobody
Drake's gonna
wants
have a
to see
match
The ring
there.
announcer?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's exciting.
I want to know where that $7,000 is that Carson Drake gave me the other night.
Ask Elon. He's probably going to doge it later on and figure out where it went. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he deposited in his bank account. What he did.
Carson, you're wrestling William Zapka? That's what he said. He said he's wrestling at the Squared Circle Expo. He said, hint, Cobra Kai. It'd be kind of cool. It's like you versus one of your idols, right?
Very nice.
Now, I will tell you this, Kyle, you'll appreciate this. In June, we are also doing a Comic-Con down in Georgia. It's called Trek Wars. That is going to be awesome.
Trek Wars. Gee, I wonder why you got yourself booked on that.
I was about to say, I know why
know
Joe
why.
Kazana's going there.
You know why?
Joe Kazan, a huge Star Trek
You
fan.
should go dressed as a Jedi.
I'm going to no.
The roster should show up with lightsabers.
The country gentlemen are going to be there, and I am just going to be in awe of all the Star Trek paraphernalia that's going to be there.
Here's the answer to your question, Kyle. You said, who's your favorite son, right? Whichever son shows up with a red Star Trek shirt on is the one.
Oh, no red shirts. No, Danny, no red shirts. We don't do red shirts in the original series.
Those
They
are the
don't
ones that
last
just
very long.
beam down and don't come back, right?
Those are the ones
They
who
don't
have
come
one
back.
line in their script that says, Captain, yeah, right.
That's it.
Tag card right there. I'd take that.
Scotty. That's why he never got off the ship.
The only red shirt that ever survived was
That's it.
Scotty. He was the only one.
The bottle of scotch and hitting the teleporter.
That's it.
Set the phasers to stun.
Yeah, well, spell phasers right. That's
Carson
not how you
Drake
spell
versus
phasers.
Mae Young's
What's the matter with
baby
that guy?
hand. I bet Mae Young's baby hand is now old enough to wrestle, isn't it? It's been a
Yeah,
long time.
absolutely.
How
Yeah,
can
look
you
at that.
pin the hand? It has no shoulders to pin.
That's a
I
good
had
point.
Got to be a
It's a famous
submission.
head and shoulders bottle in order to get head to lose that match.
Also,
What do
Joe,
we
what
got?
does the
And
book
you-
say about joint manipulation? You might not even be allowed to put a hold on that hand.
Oh, well done. Also, this is well done. Dodi Cusimano says, I love NWA involvement in Squared Circle Expo. I hope the NWA will be more involved in conventions like WrestleCon, CAC, SICW Fan Fest, National Wrestling Hall of Fame, Dan Gable Museum, of course, WrestleCade. Dodi, are you like a spokesperson for all of these? Because that was a lot to throw in there.
Well,
Also,
we do
Danny-
go to WrestleCade every year.
right there.
We do go to WrestleCade every year.
Danny
Yeah.
Dealz is always
Over
at
there
WrestleCade.
last year. Yeah. Me and Pretty and Power were there last year.
Actually, joints are illegal in many states.
That
Joint
is where
manipulation
Kylie got injured.
It's exactly where she got
Not
in.
in Cleveland.
Nope.
Yeah.
Fine.
Tiffany
No.
Oh
Diaz
my God.
can't-
Please do everybody a favor and just shut up, Kyle.
Anyway. Could have killed the whole show. It's just everybody went quiet.
All right. Eddie needed his medicine.
That's okay, Kyle. You don't have to put up with that.
Yeah. I've got a bad shoulder and depression. Here you go.
For what it's worth, I don't have to just keep interrupting the show with the video because I also did it this way.
Before we started the show earlier,
Kyle, shut up.
Jesus, this is pretty funny because Gary and I both hopped on very early tonight to make sure that everything we needed for the show was uploaded. And when I first got on here, Gary wasn't here. I just saw that he was logged in. And so I started talking and I started hearing the shut up Kyle thing over and over again. And that's how I knew he was here. But another fun reason I bring this up is because not only did we jump in early to set this up, but we missed so much shit adding on here that we completely failed. And we had the best of intentions.
Yeah, it's tough. It's there's a lot going on. You know, we're a small crew. So, you know, and we do this for fun and for the community that we have with these fans that are in the chat right now. We're so appreciative of all of you. So, see, look at that. I sucked up to everybody.
Well,
Yes, you
They
did.
like me.
Gentleman and Joe, EC3 and I have trivia to win.
Oh,
So it was nice to talk to you all. Exodus is the top territory.
You've lost your mind.
Noah, what's it
Hey,
like
look,
as an
look
adult
here,
to have friends you get
hits
to
and-
hang out
he
with?
hits and runs. He hits and runs like EC3 does. You're overman, you're overlord, you're delusional, over God, or whatever he wants to call himself. He's delusional. They're not the best territory. NWA JCP is the top territory, and he damn well knows it.
I'm just super jealous of him because, again, to have adult friendships where you get to spend time with people instead of all of your
I
friends.
hope it's
living
not I
hundreds
hope
of
it's
miles
not
away.
a question on their
Weird.
trivia then, like which is the best territory.
Oh,
According to
yeah.
Joey's going to
Yeah.
get it wrong.
Well, I'm sure if you talk to the other territories, if you talk to Trevor and Leland, it would be World League. If you talk to Jazz, it'll be somewhere in Texas. So I
NWA
mean,
Chicago, I can't help but notice you didn't mention.
what, Chicago?
Wow, got real quiet. Got real quiet.
He's
I
on.
had,
that's
I, had, I had to
delay.
catch you for a second. Chicago? I mean, why wouldn't I mention Chicago?
You were just
Well,
getting
you just
there,
thought
right?
you weren't gonna.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Chicago's the only.
He's on his
Chicago's,
way there. He's on
no,
his way
they
there.
don't mess around in Chicago. They got good shows in Chicago. Hell,
They
Noah's
don't.
got good shows. Him
Dealz-
and EC3 run great
Dealz
shows.
warned me that Chicago don't mess around. You say the wrong thing in the wrong place, they'll shoot your ass.
Well, ain't that the
No.
truth?
Well, that happened in Cleveland too, by the way.
Oh, I
Let's
know.
just-
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
just put it this way: every territory has their own niche in what we all do, and every territory claims to be the best territory. Not every territory can be the best, but you know something? We're in Tennessee, and matter of fact, we're in East Tennessee, where KFW and JCP rule the roost. It doesn't matter who's here. It doesn't matter where we go. JCP, KFW, the East Tennessee crew. I mean, just okay, just for a second, let's look at our champions right now. Okay, let's look at all our Tennessee-based champions.
That's
The United States Tag Team Champions, the
I'm
World
imagining.
Women's Champion. Matter of fact, Mims is from Middle Tennessee. So
He's
I
on
mean,
the screen right there. Look at him. He just kick out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alex is in Nashville. He's
Alex
junior
Taylor's
league.
a world champion as well. Nashville. You know, so when you know EC3 and Noah up there, they want to talk about the best territory. What do they got?
Will there ever be an NWA California? Well, we are actually going to have an
California.
happening for
Good
the
Christ.
NWA in California.
California's either going to drop into the ocean or burn down, one or the other.
Either way, we're going to be there coming up. More news to be announced on that. NWA Florida, of course, is we have FTW is kind of a cousin promotion of the National Wrestling Alliance. That is Florida based. In fact, we have a big announcement right around the corner that I can't mention yet because it hasn't officially happened. We're going to have a new territory coming up in a region that you might not be expecting. Put that out there. Dylan had to ask. No, don't ever apologize for asking questions, Dylan. I like people that ask questions. Asking questions
We do.
will possibly save your ass from somebody just pulling the wool over your eyes.
We do. We like questions here, Dylan.
Yeah.
But it gives us something to talk about.
Speculation begins.
Speaking of which, does anybody have any questions for any of us right now as the show is winding down? We talked about Power. We talked about the upcoming events. We've talked about territories. We're talking. Alaska actually would be a hell of a guess.
That's
Yeah.
we got to get a Dracula and a priest because if we're going to go to 30 days a night, that's what's got to happen.
I mean, this guy that wants us up in Alaska right here. My God, what are we going to do? Get on the Northwestern and fight Big Sig for the fish? What are we doing up there?
I like the idea of that. That sounds fun.
I don't know geography very well. I'm handsome, not smart.
Alaska's way up here, Kyle.
Yes,
Next
I
to
get
the West
that.
Coast.
But I don't know where
It
Sacramento
technically
is.
connects to Russia with the Bering Strait, which is how
I
people
could see it
crossed
from
over
my
during the
house.
Ice Age.
I know. I can remember what's her name saying. I could see it from my house.
Let's just, hey, while we're at it, Alaska, man, let's just go to NWA Hawaii.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Conversations get started and they continue on in the chat. Like Willie Bowen's in here still talking about Star Trek. So
that a boy, Willie Bowen.
Oh, here's a good one. Joe Kazana. Any memories of Smoky Mountain wrestling?
Many, many memories of Smoky Mountain wrestling. What do you want to know? I mean, there's a lot.
Did you get to work with the gangsters when they were there talking about how they were just firing up and trying to get the crowd to murder them?
Well, the gangsters were heels just like I was. So I never actually wrestled the gangsters. I was in a lot of locker rooms with them. I was in a lot of towns with them. And the towns that Smoky Mountain went to, let's talk about Corbin, Kentucky. Let's talk about Hazard, Kentucky. Let's go over into Virginia. The gangsters weren't very well received in these towns.
No.
Were you there?
It must have been their attitude.
The old timer was telling me about how they beat up the Armstrongs and put flags over them. It was in Kentucky, and it was a near riot.
Yeah, there was damn near a murder up in Kentucky that night.
The way he explained it to me, he said that's like beating Jesus and the Holy Spirit. You know, you beat up the Armstrongs.
First of all, you don't beat up an Armstrong anywhere in the Southeast. That's a given. Believe me, I've wrestled every one of them, and I took my beatings. I gave them beatings, and you don't beat up the Armstrongs in the Southeastern United States. I'm sorry.
Good question here from Mama. Good question here from Big Mama. You see it?
Our neck braces by the book. She's, of course, talking about her match tomorrow night in NWA Power. Can Miss Star wear the neck braces and buy the book?
Let's explain something to Big Mama. Now, look, you came into NWA JCP, and you were part of the territory show, and you are the world's television champion, and we appreciate everything you've done. Now, let's talk about, Miss Star. Miss Star has got a doctor's note. She has presented it to Mr. Corrigan. She's presented it to Pat Kenny and everybody else that she needs to present it to. So legally, yes, as long as the doctor says that she can wrestle, then she can wrestle. I don't see how the neck brace, affects the other team in any way in this particular match coming up. I mean, it's not exactly a hard cast that's around her neck. It's a soft neck brace.
Seems to me wearing a neck brace in the ring is pretty much like wearing a bullseye. Like somebody's just going to go right.
I mean, it's
that.
like wearing a knee brace. I mean, somebody's going to go after it. But yeah, no, it's by the book and legal at this point in the ball game.
All right.
Back to Smoky Mountain. I just have other questions because again, it was in the chat. Primetime Brian Lee.
Yeah. Brian Lee, I used to travel the roads a little bit with Brian. Brian, big guy, he could wrestle, and he wasn't bad at all. As a matter of fact, if memory serves, he was the very first Smoky Mountain heavyweight champion. But Brian Lee was okay. I mean, he wasn't a bad sort of a guy until they painted him up to make him look like the Undertaker.
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about. That there was always two Undertakers. It's never was anybody else. I'm just a big ECW mark, so that's really Smoky Mountain. That's how I discovered Smoky Mountain, being from Connecticut, is because of through ECW and everything. Dr. Tom, Heavenly Bodies. We've got Candido and Tammy Lynn Bitch and all that other stuff, depending on what you're calling her, where you're calling her, or anything like that. Yeah. So it's just so interesting to me to think that professional wrestling, again, being a guy from New England. I discovered NWA and all those things on VHS from my local video store years after everything happened. So it's always just fun to see and experience wrestling that was always there, that had an effect on people, that was really just amazing to watch and experience, and knowing like, oh, I've missed this entire thing. So it's all new. And that's always a fun thing to go back and look at with YouTube and tape trading still and everything else.
Well, Smoky Mountain, if every now and then I'll go back and I'll watch some of Smoky Mountain and try to remember exactly what happened here and what happened there. One of the best, nights that I can remember was the Night of Legends, with Smoky Mountain. It was the most incredible night that Smoky Mountain ever had in Knoxville. It was the biggest crowd they ever drew in Knoxville. I mean, it was I mean, it was something, and to have my family inducted into the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, there it was pretty cool. Unfortunately, my grandfather had passed away, and I was able to accept the award for the family. So I mean, that was cool. But Smoky Mountain was it was a fun territory. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I can remember when Cornette first approached me about it, and it was just one of those things. It's like, how much longer are you going to be with the NWA down here and with WCW and all that stuff? I said, I got a little while longer to go. He said, well, when it's done, he said, we're going to open up a territory in Tennessee. He said, you ought to think about coming and working. One thing led to another, and I was able to not only come in as a wrestler, but I also came in. He's the one that gave me my first office job. With Smoky Mountain, I was like Sandy Scott ran most of the towns and everything, but I was able to go out and get the towns. And
did you get a fax machine?
Do what?
Did you get a fax machine?
I never had a fax machine. That
Have you ever heard the Cornette ran
for Tim, but no, Jim gave me an opportunity with Smoky Mountain, to work the office, and that's kind of sort of where I started, picking up, the whole office, the way things run, and it was a lot of fun. It was daunting to say the least, but it was still fun.
Glad to hear that. In fact, I have a question here from Carson Drake for you, and I don't understand the context, but maybe you do. He says, if you ever got put on him, does he think he could reverse a cradle?
Maybe in 1992 or 93, I could. I don't know about 2024 or 2025. I'm a 60-year-old man. I mean, why does Carson want to know what I can do? I mean, if Carson wants to jump in the ring with me, I'm happy to put him in a sugar hold and make him tap out in 10 seconds.
Ooh.
Maybe I should get that shot at the world television title. I mean, I do know those holds.
Yeah, these young brothers don't know anything about.
You know what he says?
The sugar hold, the Saturday Night Ride, all that good stuff. I mean, that's legitimate holds that'll make a man tap even when he doesn't.
I'll give you a tip on those, Carson. The more you struggle, the tighter it gets.
Ain't that the truth? It's like those handcuffs they put on Carson in the cop cars, right? No, I mean, I don't know. Reversing a cradle, I mean, it's easy to reverse a cradle if you know it's on there. I mean, a 3 count's a 3 count, and it's quick. So you'd have to be quick with the reversal.
Yeah, especially if Scott Wheeler's counting.
Scott Wheeler's he's a quick counter.
He's corrupt.
Yeah, he's corrupt.
There's a good question from Patrick Moore here. What was the first NWA match any of us have seen? His was Ric Flair versus Kerry Von Erich for the title.
First one I saw?
Yeah, any of us.
Oh shit!
I could tell you the first show I ever watched. It was Starrcade '89 Future Shock.
First one I saw, it would have been Georgia Territory on TBS.
Mm-hmm.
And probably Bob Roop or Rip Rogers and Ted Oates or some kind of Bob Roop versus Tommy Rich. Remember the TV title they had in Georgia? That was a cool looking TV title. It had all the colors on it. Yeah, it was probably something like that. I can't remember. That was the first. That would have been '83. When did it get bought? '84. So it would probably 80.
It may have been earlier than that, Danny.
Yeah, I can't remember. I just remember we got cable and it was on. I watched it. It would have been a Georgia show. Gordon Soley at the podium, and probably Bob Roop and Rip Rogers, and Ted Oates, and Irwin Brothers. Remember?
Yeah. Mr. Wrestling 2 and Tim Woods.
Yeah, Wrestling 2. Yeah. Thunderbolt Patterson, Ole.
Yeah.
I remember. I watched a bunch of tapes. No,
Carson,
I just
don't
remember
insult the
when
man
I
who
was.
trained me.
When I was younger, I would just read a bunch of tapes. So that's probably where I first saw the NWA stuff. And it was, I think, like there was Chi-Town Rumble, which I think was Flair Steamboat. And then, there was a Flair for the Gold. I remember my video store had that. And so I watched that one.
That was like 83.
But it was from 83.
84?
I mean, the tape, it wasn't in 83 that I saw it. It was.
No, I know. That was the Starrcade. That's one of my favorite matches because that's the 83 with Piper and Valentine in the dog collar.
Dog collar.
And it wasn't for the U.S. title. Valentine had it. Wasn't because Piper was leaving for New York after that. But remember, they had that dog collar match, and it was brutal. And I thought that was so wild as a kid. All that blood coming out of Piper's ear. So he popped his eardrum or whatever.
That's it. We need Carson in a dog collar match when the time comes.
That's it. That'd be really good. I can tell you this. I go all the way back. Let's go all the way back to the original territories. First NWA match I can remember. I mean, I've been going to matches since I was 2, 3, 4 years old. But the first match I can remember was Andre the Giant versus Ron and Don Wright at the Jacobs Building in Knoxville.
Yeah, that had to be in Knoxville with the Wright brothers.
1973, I think it was. And I remember that, and I remember it because that's the first time I ever saw Andre the Giant, and I was absolutely, I was mesmerized by this guy. He was in shape, he looked great. I can remember my granddad taking him a bag of Crystal hamburgers, and the man would just eat it one burger at a time, eat a whole burger in his mouth at a time, and
Nothing
it was
wrong
just.
with that.
No, I mean, it was just like, God almighty, this guy's huge.
I
mean, that's the first one I can actually, remember, watching. As far as like you're talking about, Danny, the first time I ever watched national, any kind of anything was when we got cable, and that was 1976. And I watched Chattanooga wrestling, and it was Harry Thornton, and of course Goulas and that bunch down there. And that was the first NWA stuff I watched outside of my granddad's stuff. So yeah.
As we're winding down here, Joe, there's more questions. Do you have any NWA Florida stories?
Other than being down there a few times and wrestling with Barry Horowitz, and I actually got to wrestle Mike Graham down there a couple of times. I wasn't in Florida a lot. But Florida was a hotbed.
It was a hot territory.
Yeah, it was an incredible territory to be in. I mean, you got to remember back then, if you're guys like I was. I mean, we'd go into the territories, we'd stay there 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, and then we were out, and we go on to the next territory. I mean, we weren't like the Grahams or the Bob Roops, like you're talking about, of the world, that would go down and stay for 8, 9, 10, months or whatever.
Bob Roop won't talk about a shooter.
Yeah, he was a hell of a shooter. And those stories you hear about Bob Roop down there in Florida with Hogan and that, I mean, that's all true.
Yeah, broke his leg. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean that's
the video true. Where Eddie Graham had some Marco in the ring because he was like, I could do it. And Bob Roop basically breaks his arm. They showed it.
Well, maybe he broke his leg because of the character of the person. Just putting that out there.
No, they told him to do it.
Back then, Kyle, I think as well.
I think nobody realized the character of the person back then. You're right.
Yeah, and honestly, people back then, the old timers back then, did not want people to get into business.
I get that. I was just shitting on somebody for a second.
Oh yeah, I know. I know, but no, I didn't wrestle in Florida a lot. I mean, as far as the territories go, I mean, I was down there quite a bit with WCW, but not
huge in Florida. That was like legendary.
Drew Peacock. Drew Peacock. Does that name ring a bell?
Who?
Come on, Kyle.
Drew Peacock. I don't know.
That's what he just said. Carson asked him. Does he remember the match he lost to what was his name?
Yeah.
Drew Peacock.
Drew Peacock. Come on.
I really just thought it was somebody's name that worked in Florida.
It is.
No. Carson's being Carson.
Yeah.
But the territories back then were a lot different than of course ours are now.
Shut up, Kyle. Shut up.
It's weird that as cadence is new when you hit it. Like lower and they get higher.
Tommy Rich, he was a big baby face in Georgia too.
Tommy Rich you talk about a worker, man. That guy, Tommy Rich, was really
Plunkett just had a match against him like last year or something. Plunkett brother's still out there. It was him and Doug Gilbert.
And I'm sure Tommy can still go. I wrestled. I remember one time in particular, I was on a loop and I was wrestling with Junkyard Dog in all these towns. and we had just wrestled in Greensboro, and we were coming to Knoxville the next night. And I was telling Dog, I said, well, we're going to my hometown tomorrow night. Let's do something a little different. I mean, 7 minutes of headbutts and punches. I mean, come on, let's do something different. Well, the next night I ended up getting to wrestle Tommy Rich in the Coliseum in Knoxville. And we went 11 minutes, and that, you talk about a great match. We had a lot of fun in that match, but I had a lot of good matches with Tommy Rich. He was smooth.
Referee.
Oh, God damn it. I fell for it again. I said it out loud after I clicked on it.
All right. Listen, we're at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
We're going to start wrapping this thing up. We can't do that until I give the people their moment of silence.
There's art in all that surrounds us. Sometimes you just have to take a moment to appreciate it. Follow me?
There you go. That's your moment.
Gary,
of
has
silence.
anybody noticed that Sal's been wearing that face guard longer than Miss Star's been wearing the neck brace?
He's like, Rip Hamilton.
They could definitely talk about what therapist they're both visiting. I feel like, and I met physical therapists, but probably also the other kind of therapist too. So either way. All right. Well, don't forget, tomorrow night, NWA Power is available to you, 6:05 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss this one. It's going to be huge.
It'll be by the book.
World Tag Team title matches.
Not a book.
Knox and Murdoch against Stacey Kill and Talos. You got the It Girls taking on Big Mama and Kylie Page, and Carrie Morton versus Colby Carino. You know that one's going to be a good one. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be good. NWA Power is on fire right now. There's some good stuff happening. Last week's
Big show on television.
There you go. Thanks to everybody for showing up and being here. We appreciate you, everybody in the chat. Thanks to Joe for filling in here and just jumping on with us, a spur of the moment, and to Noah and a brief appearance by EC3.
Kenzie Cutter. I'm sorry. The power is about to end from last week, right?
Look at that. We timed it perfect. Anyway, thanks everybody for being here. Until next week, please, all of you, enjoy your gravy cakes.